everybody hear me? Hello, good morning. I'm Boris Johnson. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's great to be here in Sutton. Thank you very, very much for allowing me to park my wonderful route master here. It's not mine. It's a great joy to be here in Sutton, which is, of course, one of the few places in the United Kingdom I have not insulted. Absolutely no intention of doing so today. It's a great joy because I want to tell you about why I want to be Mayor of London and why I'm campaigning to be Mayor of London. And the first and most important difference between my campaign and the way the current Mayor runs London is that I am going to be a Mayor who works with all the boroughs of London. I'm just going to work just as hard for Zone 6 of London as I do for Zone 1. And I will not trample over the wishes of locally elected politicians and local people in building. We all need more housing. Yes, did you hear the question, ladies and gentlemen? Can I guarantee to keep the Freedom Pass? I can guarantee to keep the Freedom Pass, and I think too few people realise that the Freedom Pass is not given to them by the Mayor. It is in fact given by the boroughs, and it is very important.
So it's not a Freedom Pass.
It's very important that Transport for London does a. You are. It's very important.
Are you guaranteed to give the kids free passes?
I'll come to that in a minute. I'll come to that. Thank you.
I'm asking you now. I don't want to know.
Okay, well, I'll be right with you. The gentleman wants to know about whether I can guarantee to give the kids free passes on the buses. I'm going to come to that in 1 minute, because I am going to, as I say, going to work with all the boroughs, but above all, we're going to have security on the streets. You all right, sir? And people have got to feel safe and confident on the streets. And to get to your point in a second, one of the key things that people don't feel safe and confident about is the number of rowdy children around. We all love our children, don't we?
No.
Yes. And our kids are in general wonderful. Yes. But there are some kids who are making life miserable for people on the buses. He's gone away now. And I think that is a problem. That is a problem we need to stamp out. Because I want people to get on the buses, I want people to use the buses more than they do. And I think too few people are deterred from using the buses by intimidating mobs of kids who are frankly abusing their privilege of free travel. Now, I think I'm in favour, to get to your question, he's gone, but to get to your question, I'm in favour of the free travel. I want that people to have that privilege, but they must not abuse it. And as soon as I become Mayor, if I'm lucky enough to get the nomination, as soon as I become Mayor, I will institute measures to make sure that the privilege is taken away from kids who abuse it and who cause a row and intimidate passengers on the other side. I also will say I want to get rid of. I want better buses. I want more. Unfortunately, this bus does not comply with health and safety standards. I don't know why, but it's a beautiful machine. But we can no longer have route masters of this kind. We've got to be realistic. But what I will do is I will get rid of the bendy bus, which I think is a terrible machine. It has some attractive features. It does allow passengers with buggies who want to get on easily. And we've got to replicate. We've got to make sure that continues. But what we can do is build a beautiful new iconic route master for London that will comply with modern health and safety standards, and that is what I will do. We will move the bendy buses off to where they belong, which is ferrying passengers from one airport terminal to another, and institute a wonderful new route master. We'll crack down on the rowdiness of the kids on the buses. Above all, what I want is a mayor and a mayoralty that looks at the key problems that people face in London, and those are crime, transport and housing, and focuses on those, and works with everybody to deliver taxpayer value. You're all paying huge quantities of money now for the mayor. Do you know what you're paying on average? £288 in Band D, up to 300 now for the mayoral precept. That's a lot of money. People deserve a bigger bang for their buck. I tell you, if I'm lucky enough to become mayor, if I'm lucky enough to get to City Hall, I will immediately institute economies in the City Hall budget that will return some of that money to people. And for instance, I do not think it right that the people of London are paying millions of pounds so that the mayor can send them a free newspaper in which he describes what a wonderful guy he is and what fantastic things he can do. It's like they started it. It's like Pravda.
Sutton, we get one of those all the time.
I think it's ludicrous. I don't see any reason why there are so many officials in Transport for London who are on salaries way in excess of £100,000. There are 112 people who are earning more than £100,000 in Transport for London. Only 7 such people in the Treasury of the United Kingdom. That gives you an idea of the scale of spending that's going on, when it could go on things like better buses, bus conductors, for instance, improvements in the lives of people who use our transport services. And above all, I want London to be a united city, right? We want London to come together. We want it to be a fantastic, friendly, generous, internationalist, outward-looking kind of place. Yes? Yes. It should be. We want it to be all together, but we don't, or at least I don't, see any particular need for London to have a space programme. Do you see any need for London to have a space programme? That is a measure of the current pretentiousness and over-ambitions of the current regime. And in fact, I see no point whatsoever in having a space programme, unless, of course, it is to send the present occupant of the mayoral office into orbit. And that is, of course, what I hope. He's already there. He's already there.
There's no space left.
That is what I hope, in a figurative political way, to be able to do on May the 1st with your help. Thank you very much for coming along. Are there any questions?
What about the congestion zone? Will you increase the size of the zone?
I don't think the short answer is the whole congestion charge project is going to be actively reviewed by me, because I don't think it's working at the moment, in the sense that congestion within the zone. How many of you actually drive through London ever? Drive through the charging zone. Congestion in the charging zone's gone up. It's up 15% on last year. The traffic jams are as bad as they ever were, but you've just got posher cars in the jam. So it's only people who can afford to pay the congestion charge who drive in, but there's more and more of them, and they're causing the same chaos as before. It's not eco-friendly, because more and more cars are going around the perimeter of the zone and emitting just as much CO2, and it's not even a financial winner. Do you know why not? It's raised £930 million from the drivers of London, the congestion charge, and only £10 million is available to be spent on improving the roads. Because the vast bulk of it goes to paying capita and all the people who are running the contracts and the machines that trap you and all the rest of it. So it is not working on any basis at all at the moment.
But the principle, do you agree with the principle?
I think if we can come up with a system of reducing congestion, which is what it says on the tin, isn't it? It says we're going to reduce congestion, but it doesn't. If we can come up with a system of reducing congestion that is fairer to people on low incomes, that genuinely reduces congestion, that is green, genuinely reduces CO2 emissions, and is not cripplingly expensive, then we should go for that. But I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to wait a few months for that solution, because I'm going to be bringing that out nearer the time of the election. I'm afraid we've got 8 months of this to run, or 7 months of this to run, and I don't want my ideas to be stolen.
What about the Olympics?
The question is, what about the Olympics? I don't want to be mealy-mouthed, but I think we should support the Olympics. I think the Olympics are a wonderful thing. And I think we should hope that Britain will do brilliantly in the Olympics, and we should be positive. But I see no reason at all why the people of London should pay any more than the £20 per household they're already paying, and they're going to pay for 10 years to come. Why should people in Sutton, I don't know how is Sutton going to benefit from the Olympics? Well, you've answered my question. Thank you. What I think should happen is, if people in the whole of London are going to contribute, as they are, to the Olympics, quite heftily, then there should be some recompense. And this is my general principle of my mayoralty. I want people's investment to be rewarded, and I would like London households, the children of London households, to have discounts on their tickets to the Olympics as some sort of recompense for the contribution we're making. And I say this, I see absolutely no case, if the bill gets out of control, which we all know it will, I see no reason at all why the people of London should pay any more towards the Olympics.
What about back garden development, Boris?
You heard the question, everybody? What about back garden development? Perhaps the multitudes weren't here for the beginning of my speech, but the essence of what I want to do is to work with the boroughs and not to impose on local communities buildings, rabbit hutch developments that are out of keeping with the area and which are not in keeping with local sensitivities and the wishes of local people. And I want to preserve, I want to save the gardens of areas like this from desecration by the developers. And you will not, under a Johnson mayoralty, see unsightly developments being plonked down in people's back gardens in contravention of the wishes of locally elected politicians and local communities.
Will you fund
high-rise?
Well, the question was, what about high-rise developments? And my answer is the same. There are some people in City Hall, naming no names, the current mayor, who has said it is his ambition in a sort of, phallocratic way to create a skyscraper in every suburb.
Phallocratic.
And whatever the word was. And I oppose that. I oppose that. I do not see why the personal ambitions of politicians to leave a legacy in the form of a skyscraper should have a cost in the amenity of local people. And why on earth should people's vanity be allowed to express itself in this way? You will not get me supporting that kind of development.
Will you get policemen out on the street?
We must. Everyone hear the question? Will I get policemen out on the street? Yes. I think it is very, very sad that it is now the case that some forms of violent crime are more prevalent in this town than they are in New York. That cannot be right. And one of the factors, I think, in this problem is that we have a smaller proportion of our police force out on the street at any one time than they do in New York. And I'm going to work with the Metropolitan Police to find the efficiencies and changes in the organisation needed to get more people out on the street. And not just police, I also think we need the PCSOs to have some serious responsibilities. I think it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy at the moment. If a PCSO sees someone shoplifting, he has to go and get a proper police constable because he hasn't got the power to detain him himself.
Ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And then the police constable has to spend 4.5 hours going through the form and processing the thing, and he's taken off the street and deterring more serious crime. We need to sort out that kind of crazy inefficiency, get more police out on the street. Because if we get more police out on the street, and if we have PCSOs who are genuinely responsible, then we create a climate of confidence amongst people that the streets are safe. And it's no longer the case that only two people with power on the streets, the police and the bad guys. Suddenly everybody feels happier and more confident about the streets they're walking down. We don't feel that at the moment, do we? The thugs and the yobs. A sort of James Bond solution. You mean put all the bad guys in orange pajamas? Unfortunately, it's beyond my powers as mayor, but I'm interested in your proposal. Are there any other questions? Listen, this is turning into a massive thing. Yes, that was the first question that I was asked. The Freedom Pass is completely safe and must be preserved. Indeed, the job of the mayor is to make sure that Transport for London does a reasonable deal with the boroughs so that the Freedom Pass does not cost too much. And that will be a prime focus of what I want to do. I think too much money is wasted in Transport for London, and we should be making sure that people get a good deal on their Freedom Pass. The boroughs get a good deal, yes.
What about all the gangs of youth around in the evenings? What do you think about that? You can't come out in the evenings.
Did everybody hear the question? The question was, what about all the gangs of youths that are around in the evening? Well, what I want to do is I want to work with local borough commanders to see if we can roll out a system of 24-hour policing, expanding the Safer Neighbourhood scheme, which I think we're going to go and see in a minute. The Safer Neighbourhood scheme, so that people feel that this police presence is there round the clock.
There's no police around after that.
You're right. You're right. And it's expensive. I've seen it happen in Hammersmith and Fulham, and it works. But they've spent £1 million on it. But it's something that the boroughs can do, and it's something that I'll be helping them to do if I become mayor. Right. Anything else?
Yeah. Would you support the police using dispersal orders?
I am in favour of. I've heard about the use of dispersal orders and what you want dispersal orders in the park and so on. I'm in favour of that. I'm in favour of that. But generally, we need to recapture the street. People need to feel confident on the streets again, don't they? That's the prime duty of a mayor, to make the people of London feel that the streets are theirs again, and feel they can walk at any time down the streets of Sutton and feel that they're at home. That's the vital thing.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Catherine.